obviously an horrendous injury that you sustained last game of season. Tell us what's been going off since that happened.
Since I had the first operation, it was pretty hectic. I was kind of on the backside for sort of best part of 3 months. But yeah, got through the worst of it now. But yeah, unfortunately, when I finally came off my crutches, it was just I had so much muscle wastage, and we found out the tibia, which is the main kind of weight-bearing bone, wasn't knitting properly. It was only really recovering well on sort of one area of it. So I had to get the screws removed a couple of weeks ago. Locking screw up here because they think that having that out will allow a little bit more compression, because bones like a little bit of compression and movement to heal properly. So going to that as a sort of plan B. I'll probably know a little bit more, to be honest, in about another 3 or 4 weeks. I'm getting it x-rayed, so we'll see if it's doing the trick. If not, potentially bone grafting, but my consultant said he's quite optimistic it won't come to that, so that'll be pretty hectic. I think they take that from your pelvis. I've not looked into it too much, but to be honest, it's feeling pretty good. I'm hobbling around and I'm starting to get a little bit of sort of strength back in my legs. So yeah, and the swimming pool saved me, to be fair. So when I came off my crutches, I was just kind of collapsing. So I'm quite a heavy bloke now. I'm about a stone overweight from when I was playing. So the swimming pool's been really good. Been getting myself in there, squatting, walking properly, calf raising. As I'm getting stronger, I'm just moving into shallower water. So yeah, that's a leg at the moment. I'm just listening to all the physio's advice, not doing anything I shouldn't, and just small steps.
So you're still involved with the foundation?
Yeah, as soon as I could, got back up here, back end of September, and been doing all I can. Mainly just kind of assemblies and kind of helping the other coaches out where I can, and reffing, walking rugby and things like that. So yeah, I'm also coaching over at Sheffield Hallam. My mate obviously does most of it. He plays for Doncaster Knights. But yeah, me and him are coaching over at Sheffield Hallam as well. So keeping myself as busy as I can.
And do you think you'll get back playing?
Yeah, definitely got ambitions too. Obviously it's very 50-50 at the moment, but yeah, if I do, providing I can keep the metal rod in and doesn't really give my knee any grief, then yeah, I'll give it my best shot. But yeah, if it comes to having to take the rod out, then potentially not, because, well, I don't know, maybe if the bone's properly united and I'm told it's strong enough by medical professionals, then I might, as crazy as it sounds. But yeah, ideally I want to keep that rod in. It's probably always going to be a weak spot there.
Anybody got any questions for Jamie?
Nice to see you.
Just admiration for what you're trying to do, sir.
You say you're coaching. Any ambitions?
We don't think I'll last very long here.
Long you beat 1 year.
Kev?
I was going to ask you about this app thing that we
Lindsay's going to talk you through it.
right.
Don't preempt Lindsay's.
No, you can do that. It's his app,
Wanna do
it's
it?
not mine.
Right, go for it.
So yeah, just working for the foundation over the years and doing all we do in schools around healthy eating. I think I was sat in a primary school just over there in Herronthorpe. Just sat down one day having a school dinner with the kids there, and I just thought, having spoken to thousands of kids, and just that day it just sort of came to me that this was still an issue when I was at primary school, like 20 years ago. I knew nothing about what healthy foods look like, nutrition, didn't get anywhere near enough physical activity or exercise, so I just thought we could all put it in an application. I think apps are all about solving problems. I still think it is a massive problem. You look at a lot of these kids, and we've looked at the surveys, and Rotherham's probably 1 in 3 that are obese. And obesity, we're all aware of the health risks associated with obesity, and it's like an epidemic now. So yeah, just basically in the first phase now, managed to get hold of And Digital. It was quite a long process, to be fair. We went through a competition, the STEM Awards
Yep.
in Magna, in kind of collaboration with City Fibre and Digital. But the competition that we've done, the winning design was more like a video game, which was out of Digital's scope to do. So I kind of pestered them and kept going back to them, and yeah, finally, this is the first phase where we're at now. So at the moment it's all around physical health, but we're hoping to move on to mental health in the phase 2 if that ever happens. And so yeah, getting that out now into a few primary schools we're closely linked to. Going to get plenty of user feedback, and then hopefully in the springtime and want to come on. We've got a good relationship with them now, and they want to do a phase 2, and the plan is to have it help as many schools in Rotherham next September.
Really,
Anything, Tadlings?
I don't know. Only that this has been done because of him being stubborn. It's almost, yeah, almost all of it been done online, video meetings. We've not physically met the people from AND, have we? And they've done this as a free thing. When we handed over the first stage, I was amazed to find there were over 20 people working on this, and they've done that for nothing. So what they did was take their interns. They get a new batch of highly enthusiastic new graduates every summer, and this has been their project. They've had a real live project to work on, and they've loved it, haven't they? And they gave us a deadline of, well, come September we're probably going to have to hand this over, and that was one of the things I put out, asking for some very weird stuff, which nobody seemed to understand, and I still don't. And John Lai, his wife, came up with a contact at Sheffield Hallam University, so they're on board as well. So we've now got another group of people who want to work with us, but it comes down to him being stubborn and refusing to give up on actually getting this made, because these companies want thousands of pounds to do stuff like this, and yet we've got this. I've got a meeting in February with the people who run all the health and stuff for the whole of the Rotherham schools, and they are really, really interested. What they can't understand is we keep saying it's free, because they keep thinking we're going to expect them to pay, but we don't, because at the minute it's cost you 50 quid? Yeah, and I think it's cost the foundation 50 quid. So I dread to think what it has actually cost. But it's down to Jamie being stubborn.
So these people have never been up?
No, we've done it all online. Every bit. Zoom calls, sharing this, that and the other. Yeah, it's
the future, isn't it?
interesting. But we did the whole composition with the schools during lockdown. We did that all online, and again we both learnt stuff I'd never heard of before, and it was fascinating to do, but I never thought we'd end up with this. So if you want to know the link, I can give you the links. Have a look, because we're still finding interesting little bugs in there. What was it with lamb? How many calories in lamb? About 800 and something, wasn't it?
100 grams or something.
Yeah.
Enough to put people flat anyway.
So the idea very much is that we put together half a dozen lesson plans with Charlotte from Thurcroft, and then we hand those over to schools and say, this is what you can do with it, but ultimately we want the teachers to take it away and go, well, I've done this and the kids have done this, and that we share all that, because we're not saying this is how it must be used. We just want them to have a resource. Go on, Mark.
So all these schools then, is it all the teachers, or is it just the PE department? Is it the kitchen department? Heads of?
We're working with a guy we know at Maltby Crags who is into this, another guy at Kilnhurst who we've worked with, Charlotte because she was the one who came on board first for it, and then every other primary school we're going into was saying, are you interested? And so far I think we've got about 20.
And their first 3 years were budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's up and running. Have you considered, and it has to be up and running, I suspect,
When I worked with MenCap, we were trying to do healthy eating with people, and what was surprised me, of course, although people do have learning disabilities, probably better at those things than you and I, because there's a younger generation. There's an opportunity down the line for you there as well, because that's a big feature with people with learning disabilities. They do have problems with understanding food and eating and
Well,
health.
we're heading for both the Rock College and the new one at Dinnington Elements in the spring term, so yeah, it will roll out to them.
Speed because the council keep moving the funding.
Yeah, the council, shall we say, have not been as welcoming as I might have thought. I keep being passed from person to person, but
MenCap has to leave rather than for lack of funding.
we will keep going with it because I'm as stubborn as he is.
Here that they still cook
No.
school meals in. They
Very-
don't.
Very few
I
schools.
thought they didn't.
No,
A
not
lot
for
of
a long
schools
time.
have their own kitchen, but a lot
So
of them
what
it's
do
a
they do
central
about
kitchen.
midday meal these
They have
days?
it, but it comes in and heated up
There's not
From where?
from central kitchens in some of the academies.
Really, that's been happening at secondary models for over 40 years.
But yeah,
They shut down all the school
but we do
I'm
cook.
an old lady. I remember when you had school dinners.
Yeah.
We do cook.
They were
them.
awful.
You want to explain the cooking one because it was fairly chaotic.
Any more questions for Jamie?
We had them here. We do healthy eating and food with Sam in the kitchen. Shall we just say it was slightly messy the first time? Kids, flour, dough, pizza.
See, one of the things you're saying, kids need to get on board with a lot of healthy eating. The kitchen is one of the first places where they should start, not a takeaway, not somewhere else. Send in. They do need to be in the kitchens. Now, if there's no facilities at the schools, how do they go about that apart from like you've done here, en masse?
There are facilities. One of the Maltby Crags has got their own kitchen suite and the rest of it. The problem they've got is money. That they haven't got the money to run it. The kids haven't got the money to buy ingredients and bring them in.
Do they still do domestic science there, I say?
No, this is primary.
Oh, sorry.
Secondary, yes, they all do some sort of food work in secondary, yeah. But we're not putting this into secondary, we're working with the primary. That's what it was
Catches it
designed
full.
for. Yeah.
Also, Connor Field that played here last season. He's got a fantastic page on Instagram. If anyone does Instagram, it's called Fed by Field, and he's actually going to teach kids how to cook, unhealthy foods and make them healthy. Like, how do you make a pizza healthy? How do you make a burger healthy? A hot dog, fajitas, etc., etc. So Gus, who used to play here as well, he's got some really good camera equipment. So we're going to get some footage when the weather gets a little bit better. And that'll all directly go onto the app as well.
Yeah, because there's a video section which at the moment I think has just got one
Just to fill it.
one video in. I don't think we've got any more yet. No, not yet.
Yeah.
As I say, it's a work in progress. This is version 1 and we have a lot of plans for version 2 next year.
Good. Well done.
Well done. Have a big round of applause for Jamie. Sterlings. Tell us